there's so much movement, there's so much going on internally, externally. For some, it may feel like you need to do something, everything, feels something, or feel everything, or feel nothing. And what came to me was thinking about a pantry. For those who may not be that familiar, pantry is a place where you have provisions, sources of nourishment that don't require any special conditions. Uh, might even want to call it a food closet. And it's a place that traditionally, when there's just conditions that are harsh, a snowstorm, the electricity is out, whatever it is, you can go to the pantry and there are things that will support you, but they don't require anything special. That you can just maybe a can opener and maybe not even that. And I was thinking about that in the context of our practice and these times that are really only life. And many people all over the world have been experiencing the gyrations that we are all the time when we weren't, or at least weren't aware of it. I believe that the practice is constantly calling us to awareness, but also the spaciousness and the ease that supports skillful connection, skillful reaction to what's happening. In our practice, we often touch many things that work for a while, and then don't work as well as they did. Sometimes it's a sitting practice. And sometimes it's, I don't know, movement practices, just different things. And they work and then they don't. And there can be, in my experience, a desire to make it work, even when it's not working, as if we'll get some benefit off of laboring. And I differ between laboring and commitment. Commitment is choosing to further investigate the practice, to perhaps modify it a bit. Laboring is when something is not working, but there's a desire to fit a square pole, a square object in a box, and it's just gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it because if I make it work, that will show I'm serious. The purpose of this practice, I believe, is not to perform seriousness for ourselves or other people, but to support liberation. And in that liberation, spaciousness. And in that spaciousness, ease. the pantry in itself for me as the concept is a calling in. You have this place and you're thinking about when I'm exhausted, when I'm in despair, when I what might support me? What have I been in this journey, this wisdom journey of life? What might I put there? And I speak to it with some, specificity, not just awareness, a general awareness. Of course, everything is awareness. But here I'm speaking about this pantry of our practice as a refuge that we can drag ourselves to, fall into this place where we might be held and nourished when we don't have any energy, when the fear is paralyzing, when hope seems hopeless. What's in there? We've been talking about the courage to belong. And this moment, this life requires us to be courageous. And what's so interesting is the inquiry is the truth that we are courageous. Choosing to be present to the fact that you, they are exhausted is a courageous act. That pantry might contain acknowledgement. Oh yes, I am flat on my back and I am present to I'm flat on my back and I am courageous. One of the things that fear does is destroy self-evident truth. I am choosing to get out of bed. There have been times in my life that that's been a very courageous act. It's also been courageous to stay in bed. What might be in that pantry is like the song, I am. People are looking at me funny. I'm looking at myself funny, and I am courageous in that looking. Something else that we've been exploring is non attachment versus indifference. Non attachment is simply, for me, not that heavy grasp, not that false belief that if I do this, they will do that. And if they don't do that, I didn't do enough. Perhaps I need to do more. In that pantry might be enoughness. the understanding that I am enough, that I don't have to touch the hot stove to prove that I'm interested in cooking. I don't have to do something, because so often that attachment that can be such a calling, particularly when it's doing justice. I'm doing justice. And often in my experience, I am overdoing. And I am not doing out of centeredness. I am doing out of reaction. I am doing outside of my capacity. If I stay within my capacity, that does not mean I am indifferent. Does not mean you're indifferent. It means that I am connecting. I am moving in a way that is authentic and is not setting any demands on this world. And with that lack of demand, I can experience a great deal of freedom and offer a great deal of freedom. In this moment, in this time, where fear and anxiety abounds, where nervous systems are ratcheted up each day, memory of the wisdom of our journeys become even more important. Fear, and particularly those who exercise it, in my experience, want us to become victims of amnesia. Want that forgetfulness to support the anxiety. Can I do it? Can I do it? I don't know. Will I be strong enough? And the wisdom of our journeys, I believe, speak to the fact we've already done it. Not in this specific moment, but the fact that we're here. We've done a million courageous things. But fear and those who peddle it would have us forget that we've done the things already. And if we've done it before, there's a great chance we can do it again. We can bring forth that ability to continue and continue and continue, because we've done it. We're here. It's so interesting to me that we can talk about we're not this and we're not that. as we sit in discomfort and courage, as we report we're not this and we're not that. How can we possibly do it as we speak from a place of doing it? Perhaps in that pantry, acknowledgement, I've done this before. Obviously not the particulars, but I have shown myself the ability over and over again in sweet and hostile situations to be present as best I can. All of us will have different formulations of the pantry, of the place where we can show up broken down and brokenhearted. That's how we got here. In our lives, in our choices, we have found refuge. We have found support. Sometimes when no one else supported us. Perhaps the word pantry we might use, substitute in remembering. But to remember, I know I need space. I know I need to breathe. I know I need to be present to my body. And I need to be present to those in my life that will call me to that when I forget. Yesterday, I spent the day with wearing 3 tutus and a t-shirt, pink, that said, "This is what an old lesbian looks like." And I marched with my performance group and gave out candy and got lots of hugs. And was just encouraging people to remember that the fact that we were doing a gay pride parade, an LGBTQIA plus parade, was an expression of courage, was an expression of rebellion. Sharing that trouble don't last always. May we continue to remember and to acknowledge our courage and our power. And may the Sangha support us in doing so. Aisha bowing out. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Laura. You can end.